politician to say, look, this is not our mess. This was created by the Tories. The referendum was held by the Tories. The Tories are the one who can't agree on what to do next. So even if the country crashes out, as some see it, in March with no deal, with no agreement here is what's going to do, in the end, it's only going to redound to Labour's advantage because people are going to say this is a mess created by the
Labour
Tories.
have definitely had a strategy of leaving this very much at the Tories' door, and I think they should continue to do that. But it doesn't mean that they can do it at the expense of tanking the economy. If we want to deliver the kind of manifesto and the radical agenda of investing to rebuild communities across this country, we're not going to do that if we're just smashed out onto WTO rules.
I mean, Jeremy Corbyn pretty much says the economy's tanked anyway.
And I think that's an extremely cynical take on the Parliamentary Labour Party. There are Labour MPs, I guarantee you, who would rather lose their seat rather than crash out with no deal. It would be catastrophic for the country. It would be catastrophic for Labour voters in working class communities up and down the country. There is no way, I think, that the Labour Party, in opposition anyway, I think they would do everything that they can to stop us crashing out.
I mean,
with no
you
deal
played
if it comes
hardball
down
in
to
your
that.
time. Why not go for it and blame the Tories?
Well, of course you've got to blame the Tories. But in the end, you've got to take responsibility too, which is, yes, blame them, but what would we do? And I think there's a genuine problem about no deal. But the real problem about discussion about no deal is this. There's only one thing that MPs have voted for. They've actually voted for no deal. By invoking Article 50, they set a deadline. If there's nothing agreed by March 29th, we're leaving. If they can't find a majority to do any other thing, we're leaving with no deal. So the MPs in there have actually voted for no deal. They may not have believed that's what they were doing at the time. They have opened the door to no deal. And that's why I think, in a sense, this is such a big crisis. People have
So
to
Labour would get some of the blame, in other words.
I think so. Labour are complicit in it.
The whole political class will get the blame.
Everyone has to start being a bit more honest. And I think you don't rebuild trust through honesty, but you start to have an honest
But you see,
conversation.
logically, if you're right, the Lib Dems would be doing a lot better, wouldn't they?
Well, well, there's that poll that said if the Labour Party don't move behind the People's Vote, and all, there are votes available for the Liberal Democrats. And I think the truth of modern politics is it's not the leader of the party, it's not the policies of the party. The public want to have their say, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are nervous about Brexit. There's a lot of people who are really angry, like Remainers, very many of my friends. There's not a lot of anger on the part of Leavers. The Leave politicians are getting quite angry. I think workers in Bridgend, I think workers at JLR in Birmingham, I think workers in
Well, I see quite a lot of anger on social media. I mean, I don't know whether it's...
I don't know that social media
people
is
saying, we voted Leave, Leave means leave. Who are these people?
That's right, it's in the, and I think this is why we should be wary of just buying automatically into these arguments that if Brexit were not to happen, it would be a betrayal to people and there would be a massive, dangerous populist backlash. It is in some people's interest to argue that. You know, they are trying their power to referendum. So I think we be wary of those arguments.
I think one thing which needs to be said very plainly and very clearly, if there was to be a second referendum, and I would definitely election instead of that, but if there was, it cannot and must not be run by the same bunch of cretins. The worst political campaigns that's ever been delivered. And if we have the same hectoring establishment figures running that campaign again, it will not just be lost, it will be lost.
We might have Tony Blair back.
On the kind of popular that Jeremy's putting forward, we say to people, look, this is a choice actually about rebuilding the country on this. That's how that referendum...
Why isn't Labour given the mess in the Tory party?
I think the Labour are being judged in the end on a comparison of people see in respect about her doggedness, her determination. At least she knows where she's going. They're not clear. They don't see the strength that they want. They don't see great strength in Theresa May. She looks a bit better, that's all. We are led by a bunch of pygmies at the moment, and he's simply smaller than the others.
I think as soon as Labour come off the fence, you'll see Corbyn actually getting a lot more popular. I think there is